What if I told you that every single day you're missing out on amazing opportunities just because your LinkedIn profile isn't doing its job? If your profile is unclear, outdated, or simply not optimized, you are leaving money on the table. And I'm talking about leads, potential clients, and fantastic connections and opportunities. They are just not connecting with you because they don't think they want to connect with you. They don't understand why they should connect with you. But let's change that. Let's change that today. Think about it. LinkedIn has over 1 billion users, but only 1% actually post content regularly. And by that, I mean they post at least once per week. But if you're not using that potential, if you're not using your LinkedIn as it could be used, you're actually blending into 99% of everyone else who is on LinkedIn. It actually makes you invisible to your ideal clients. It makes you invisible to amazing opportunities. And you could be the best in your industry, but your profile is just not telling that story. And imagine this. Think of your LinkedIn profile as your store window, your digital store window, or if you want to put it like that, your digital business card. But if it's messy or it doesn't tell any story at all, it's not clear what it is that you do, how you do it, and who you help, people will actually not even look into your direction. They will walk right by your store and not even think twice, even if you would have exactly what they need to solve their problem. In this video, I am going to share how you can turn your profile, your LinkedIn profile, into a fantastic, powerful tool that will help you to attract the right people. I'll walk you through the 12 steps that you have to complete to be able to kind of attract the right people with your LinkedIn profile. If you miss one of them, you risk that people are confused when they come to your profile. And you know what that means, right? A confused person never buys. I will also share examples that you can be inspired by because it's so much easier when we have a blueprint to work from. I'm not talking about copying anyone else, but be inspired by people. Look at what they're doing, look at how they're doing it, and then you do it so that it actually reflects who you are and what it is that you do. So if you don't know me, my name is Josephine Warner, and I'm a former corporate executive turned entrepreneur and business growth strategist. And I help my clients to build and grow a highly engaged audience on LinkedIn. But let's kick off, right? We have 12 steps to go through, so there is no time to waste. So let's kick off with the top number one, your LinkedIn banner. Okay, so when we talk about the banner, we talk about this top piece here where many people have they have a really boring, it can be a skyline or whatever, but it doesn't say anything. And instead you should use this piece here as a little bit of a promotion area. So for example, here I am promoting a workshop that will be hosting in a couple of days actually. So use this as your piece to tell people who you are, what it is that you do, who you help, and how you help them. It doesn't have to tell that total story all the time, but make sure you kind of draw in people's attention to where you want them to go. And I will give you a couple more examples. If we look at James Newell's profile, for example, very black and white, very clear what it is that he's doing. He is a sales coach, and that is also what he says. This is his message here. So go from confusion and go to conversion. So that is his message, right? To kind of illustrate what it is that you do. Very clear. He also has his brand colors in this too. Don't overthink the pieces about brand colors or anything. It's so easy to get stuck in that. But if you do have your brand colors, then use them in your banner. Here we have Emma's banner. As you can see, very pink, very draws the attention. Emma is a copywriter, and that is also kind of like what she does here. Words your audience can invest in. So investing in you becomes the obvious choice. To make it like clearly, what is it that they want? Well, her clients want to become the go-to choice, right? So that is the message that she's conveying. So can you also see here that of all of these examples, we have almost no text in this area, and there is a very good reason for that. As you can see on this laptop view, you have the profile picture here, and then if you would have a lot of text here, that would actually not be visible from your banner perspective. So make sure you keep this space here clean with no text in it, no message in that area. Also, if you look at the profile view, you will see that it's the same thing there, right? So make sure the area here, like what is it, maybe, I don't know, 70%, 70 of the percent of the area can be filled with text or with your logo if you want to have that. But rest of it needs to be clean so that people can actually read what your message says. The next piece of asset you have is your profile picture. So make sure that the profile picture is clear, it's kind of fairly good lighted, and that people can really see you. As you can see from my profile picture, I also have the pink background, which makes it easy for whenever I comment on someone else's post, my pink background will pop out. So my people will see, oh, here is Josephine, she's commenting here again. It's a strategy that my background of my profile picture is actually pink. So make sure you use all of these different things to build your personal brand, because it all ties together. It doesn't have to be a fancy profile picture. You could just put up your phone and take a picture, take a selfie. I actually had a selfie for a very long time. So it doesn't have to be the fanciest, best picture, but make sure that, the resolution is good, that we can see you. Don't make it like weird or I don't know, and for absolutely no dog pictures or anything like that. This is a professional platform, so make sure that we can see you. If we then move into number 3 out of the 12, it's your headline or your tagline, or as I like to call it, your one-line moneymaker. Your one-line moneymaker. Why is that so important? Well, it is one of the first things that people will see when they come to a profile, but it's also one of the first things people will see whenever you pop up in someone else's feed. The first 5 to 6 words in your headline, in your one-line moneymaker, will be visible for everyone else. So make sure that they count. If possible, I would start with the result in your headline to make sure that people actually see what it is it that you do. Don't use abbreviations or making it really complicated. For example, ICF, MCC, PCC. Only coaches understand those abbreviations. And unless you are helping and supporting coaches, other coaches, those abbreviations actually make sense. But if you're, for example, helping corporate leaders, for example, they have no clue what these abbreviations stand for. So don't use any abbreviations anywhere, actually, because abbreviations are so easily misunderstood. So make sure that your headline, your one-line moneymaker, counts, because it is also what you will use when you introduce yourself. Every time, it is a little bit like an elevator pitch. Make it easy for you, make it easy to say, make it easy for people to understand what it is that you're doing and how you're doing it. There is also another piece of asset that is often underused, and it's the link underneath your headline. You can add a link where you can either ask people to book a call with you, or you can add the link to a freebie, or wherever you want to draw people to, because that is your opportunity to get them off the platform, off LinkedIn, and into your own newsletter, for example. So make sure you use the link there, and make sure that it's kind of like, if you have your banner up top and then you have the link, that it makes sense. Don't talk about one thing up here in your banner and another thing in your link. Make it crystal clear that if you point in your banner towards the link, that it's crystal clear that it's the same thing. You want to make it easy for people. Make it easy for people to connect with you. And then we have the about section. This is probably where most people go wrong. Either you see that people are sell, 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 or they don't have anything to sell at all. Make sure your about section tells the story about you. And at the same time, make it about them. Why is it interesting to connect with you? And what I also would love to see, because only 3% of everyone clicks read more in your about section. And why is that? Well, often because it's really boring. Make sure that the first 2 to 3 lines are kind of inspiring. Make sure that people really want to, oh, this is interesting, I want to read more. By adding that, a little bit more excitement, inspiration, why should they connect with you? Not just, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I do. Make it a story out of it. Tell your transformation. Why is it that you're doing what it is that you're doing? Who do you help and why do you help them? And what do you help them with? You can also add a testimonial if you want to build out that piece and make a crystal clear call to action. What do you want people to do once they have read through your about section? Do you want them to connect with you? Do you want them to sign up to a newsletter? Although today it's really difficult to say sign up to my newsletter. You have to give them something in exchange, right? But what is it? What call to action do you want them to take after they have been to your profile? Add that in your about section. We also have a fairly new section on LinkedIn, and that's this services section. It comes underneath your about section, and then here comes then the services section. I have the premium account, and that makes my services section look a little bit different compared to someone who has the free account, for example. So let me share how the free account services section looks like. So this is the profile of my business bestie, Angela Sandast. And as you can see, we have the banner on top here first. Then we have the same link here, Launch Revolution Workshop, what I spoke about. And then if you scroll down, as you can see, she also has the services section that I have too, but she doesn't have the fancy pictures. And I would still advise you to add the services section anyways, because the more touch points you have with your clients, the better it actually is. Because some people will see the banner, some people will click the link, some people will click on the services section, some people will click on the featured section. So make sure that you add as many touch points, sending the same message though. You can't send people in different directions because then they will be totally confused. But sending the same message throughout your whole profile, and that actually builds up a fantastic opportunity for you to share your story and also share who do you help and why do you help them. And as you can see, I talk about that all the time. I come back to that. Who do you help? Why do you help them? How do you help them? With what do you help them, right? Remember that story. Tell that story in your profile over and over and over again. And that brings me to another very unused feature on your LinkedIn profile, and it's actually the featured section. The featured section. Many people have used this to add old posts that have gone viral or whatever. And unless that post really tells the story about what it is that you do and who you help people, how you help people, or maybe if you're a LinkedIn ghostwriter, what do I know? Then it makes sense to have an old post. But make sure that you pull people into where you want to direct them. So in Angela's case here, she has this upcoming free workshop, and that obviously is where she wants to pull people to. Same with me. If you look at my profile, as I help promoting Angela's workshop, this is the first link you find on my profile too. And then I have other links, free links, free resources that people can actually click on these, and they can register for my free LinkedIn Clarity Masterclass, or they can get my free LinkedIn Mastery Checklist, which, by the way, I will add underneath this video so that you can access the checklist too if you want it, because it really goes well hand in hand with what I'm teaching right here. So what I wanted to say about the featured section, make sure you use the featured section because it's really powerful and you can really use it to your advantage. Don't underestimate the power that you have here. Because people will come to your profile and they will see these things, and they might scroll through your profile, or they might look at your banner, and then it says up here a link in the featured section. So you scroll down then, and then they see like, oh, this is really it, this is what I want, and then they click on that. So make sure you use the featured section and collect your audience there and support your audience throughout your various resources. So the experience section is probably where most people have kind of like their old CV style that you still see from time to time. But what I would like you to do is go through your experience section. And especially if you have been in corporate, you are still in corporate and you want to transition into a self-employed position or becoming self-employed, make sure you review your experience section and rewrite it a little bit. What is it that you've done throughout your experience that actually help and support the clients that you do today? So if you look at I spent 10 years at UBS, Switzerland's largest bank. And I could, in theory, have like the old, good old CV style here. But what I did instead is I added kind of like a headline that more describes what I did in general throughout these 10 years. I was at, as you can see, in 5 different positions and I did different things. But if I would summarize that, which obviously isn't that easy, but then I would kind of like summarize that I was a troubleshooter, I was a program manager, and I was making things happen. So how can you summarize it? What is it kind of like the things that you can pull out? If you have tangible results that you can show, for example, number of sales, or depending on what it is that you've been doing, how can you add can you add some sort of tangible results that you have helped your employers to actually achieve? So go through your experience section and rewrite it so that it fits to the story and support your story as it is today. So there is a section where you can add skills that you have too. And those skills are predefined skills that are actually depending on the industry that you choose inside of your profile. So when you set up your profile, make sure you go and or not when you set it up, when you review your profile, make sure you also go through the industry and you find that in the settings. Because if you did something before and you might have changed industry, I, for example, have a client, she was in design before, and then she moved into coaching, but her LinkedIn profile was still set up based on the design, right? So you need to make sure that the industry that you have, that represents what it is that you do today. And then you can pick skills based on that, and then people can endorse you based on the skills. I wouldn't waste too much time about the skills, though. I did a survey not so long ago. How many people really look at the skills? No one said they did that. So don't focus too much. Don't spend too much on the skills. But I just wanted to share that they are depending on the industry that you're picking. So one thing that I really do want to recommend you to do, though, is the recommendations. If you say that you are highly skilled at this or you're a specialist at that, make sure that you ask a couple of people that either you have helped with this, clients or former clients or current clients, or it can also be your team members, to give you some recommendations. Because if you have recommendations that are super old or you don't have any recommendations at all, that for me would be one thing to start focusing on. So if I would give you 4 things to focus on, it would be the banner, it would be your one-line moneymaker, your profile picture, of course, it would be the about section, and it would be the recommendations. Because the recommendations you can also share as social proof, you could share them as content, and that is kind of really a credibility and authority booster. And speaking of content, your activity, your content, how you engage with others, that is super important. That kind of completes the picture of who you are and what it is that you do, how you support people. And the more you engage, the more you post. And I'm not talking about posting loads and loads of content. I'm talking about posting quality content, adding quality comments. Then that is kind of like that will round off your profile too. An active profile draws the attention. So when you are commenting on other people's posts, their audience have the opportunity to see your comments, meaning they will come to you and they will connect with you. And that is why your profile has to be optimized. A bonus tip and trick, if you haven't done that yet, make sure you go through your settings to make sure that it is easy for people to connect with you. I see so many times that either that the profile picture can only be seen by the first connections, or that people even have to add an email to connect with a person. No one knows your email addresses today. Make it easy for people to connect with you, and make sure that when they come to your profile, that they find you interesting, inspiring, they really want to connect with you. Don't make a false picture of yourself, obviously. It has to be authentic. But you are you, and you are special, and you are unique. And make sure that we see that in your profile too. So that was actually it. The 12 steps if you haven't maybe you want to go through this profile again, I also have a mastery checklist, and I will add the link underneath this video so that you can go through the mastery checklist step by step and know exactly what to do when, and also how to do it. I also have a free community that you can come and join if you want to, and then you can ask all your questions in there too. The point, the overall point that you want to take, if you want to take with you something from this, is that you want to make sure that you tie together everything, that it's crystal clear about who you are, what it is that you do, how you do it, why you do it, and then you will become the go-to person for your the specialist, the specialty that you are doing. So make sure, don't overthink this. It's not set in stone. You're not going to tattoo it somewhere on your body or anything. Just go and update your LinkedIn profile, optimize your LinkedIn profile, and let me know how it goes. So if you found this video interesting and inspiring and helpful, then I would love to get a like from you. In my next video, I'm going to cover engagement, which is the secret recipe of LinkedIn, and that will really help you to grow your audience. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye-bye.